I designed a LEGO Technic frame for an industrial building, and in this video I'll share with you how I assembled it and show you what I have planned for the final look of this building. We'll go through the design process together and test fit different parts to see what works for the facade, the sidewalls, and the roof. So I made a quick time lapse showing how I constructed this frame in case you want to try for yourself. I start by creating these pivot legs which will form the central part of the frame, and I'm connecting them together using this light gray piece. Now I have to constrain that wobbly motion, and I'm doing that using a triangle. So as you know, triangles are widely used in structural engineering because they help you to create very stable and strong constructions, such as for bridges, for example. And here I'm using this 7x5 Technic rectangle, which is very good for joining these two separate pieces or sub-constructions together. At the bottom here I have an interesting rectangular plate attached to that frame, and this piece will be used to attach the floor to this whole structure. And now I just need to constrain the wobbly motion of the legs, and to do that, yes, you guessed it, I'm using more triangles. And this is the key, essentially. If you want to constrain the motion and also make a strong Technic structure, you have to use a lot of triangles. The top part, because it has a bit of twist, I'm not worried about it because we'll constrain that motion using plates of the roof. And here I'm using more of those rectangular pieces to join the two parts of the frame together. And at the bottom, I would have used the same rectangular piece, but I ran out of them, so I had to be creative. And I designed this little feature which snaps in place like that and is essentially doing the same thing that the rectangular piece does. And now I am creating a mirror image of the other part of the frame and attaching it to the central part of the frame on these four connection points. And this is basically the complete construction of the frame of this building, which I think resembles like a steel construction, which is the kind of look that I was aiming for. And here at the top, I am attaching these beams, which will be used as attachment points for crane or for lamps. For the floor of this building, I had to be creative. I used a bunch of random plates in my inventory, and I'm attaching the floor, just like I mentioned before, using those four plates that go inside the rectangular light gray Technic part. Here is my ideas about how I can create essentially the roof or attach the roof to the frame, as well as how can I attach basically side panels for the walls, and what I have in mind for the facade of the building as well. So we'll go through each technique, and I'll show you a bit the problems that I've encountered, and thinking about how can I attach like regular Lego pieces to LEGO Technic frame. Here the colors are not really representative of what the building will look like. It's just there like to develop a method or a technique, and then we'll order those parts in the correct colors later. So let's start with the roof. The way that I'm going to attach the roof is I have basically inserted into the Technic frame these pins basically. These pins they make it like a stud essentially. Apparently there are two types of these pins, like the light gray one can rotate, but the dark gray one is fixed, like you cannot move it. It has friction. The friction ones are more expensive, so I will just gonna have to order more of these ones that are cheaper actually, because for attaching plates and stuff they're fine, because when you have multiple attachment points like here, it's fully secures it in place. And because there's a lot of gaps here where you cannot have those pins inserted, I use this other piece, which I will have to order again in a larger quantity, which again is like just you insert a pin and then you can have an extension of like a plate which matches up the surface, and then you can attach on it a plate. So it's really good. The next problem that I had when I found out about this is because of the Technic frame, basically the way it's constructed. Let's say I have my roof. I have a gap, a visible gap here, which from the inside it looks really ugly, right? So to solve that gap problem there, I decided to create this thing here. It uses a few brackets. It uses just a few regular brackets with slopes, and when I put them in there, they fully enclose that gap. So this is how I'm gonna hide that gap. The other thing that I was thinking about is how I'm going to create the pattern for the roof. So for the pattern of the roof, I decided to go like this. Of course, the color will be just one color. It's gonna be black for these slopes, and for all the plates that are covering the roof are also gonna be black. And the pattern itself is going to go downwards like this all the way, and yeah, in the length direction as well. And we have a bigger piece of this kind, which is 4 studs long, so I will use that piece, and it also doesn't have that gap at the bottom, so that's kind of good. I think it will create a nice texture for the roof, this method. And in addition, to make the roof more stable, I use this hinge in between. So there's gonna be these pieces basically. So again, 2 brackets and some of those hinge pieces. So when you join them together, they create a hinge, which allow you to basically connect the plates at odd, like very weird, non-standard angle. For the building facade and entrance, I'm still thinking and developing techniques how I'm going to do it. But what I came up with yet is basically, because we have this Technic beam and it's actually slanted a bit, it's not straight. So it means that I cannot just build a brick wall next to it. There's gonna be a gap if I do it, and I have to close that gap. Like, to see you what I mean is I can show you here. Let me quickly take this off. But basically, yeah, there is a gap if I brick build, and the gap is increasing as you go up. So to solve that gap, I inserted more of those pins in here, and then I used tiles with a plate, and I attach it to that SNOT brick there with this plate and to here. So as you can see, it perfectly hides the gap now. This method, and it also perfectly doesn't create any non-smooth surfaces on the outside as well. So it's nice, and it looks nice on the other side as well. Okay, if I move this panel to the side, so yeah. Again, the colors are just right now random, just for developing the method. The other problem, how to close this gap, I think I will use something similar where I will insert pins along the top bars and then go along the top surface as well. And for the doors, I haven't yet decided what mechanism to use for the doors, whether they should slide to the sides or open, or whether they should lift up or down. But this is an industrial building, so I'll keep that in mind. Basically, the doors have to be quite large actually, because I want to be able to push a large object inside this building. So yeah, we'll get to that point a bit later, I guess. For the wall, I actually am thinking of having these basically panels along the bottom edge here, and here I will have 4 of these gray long pieces, which attach again to the same way basically. For the upper part, I want to include windows here. I think, and I am thinking, because right now I don't have the right pieces, but I will use the 3x3 window, so it's gonna be the size of this. I don't have that window again, but it would fit nicely between here. Well, it will center here, and possibly I will have one here, one there, and one over there as well. And then to attach those windows, probably what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attach it to the beam, to one of those holes that are on the beam right there, and somehow, you know, later I'll figure out how to attach the top as well. For these center pieces, again, they are not final. They will not be here in the final design. I just need more of these light gray subframes so that I could add them here, and it will look the same all around. I will also have a ramp, so this is how I'm gonna do it. I will basically have this shape going all the way along, so that vehicles can easily drive on into the industrial building. And because the whole floor will be tiled, it will match up with the level of the ramp. When I put a tile on, it's gonna be at the same height, so it's gonna look pretty cool. And I haven't yet come up with the exact function of this building, but I'm thinking that here I will be able to attach some crane or maybe some lamps or something to these beams at the top. And yeah, this is gonna be an industrial building, so maybe it's gonna be a manufacturing plant, or maybe it's gonna be a hangar to house a large vehicle or a train or of some sort. We'll see when I see the better view of how the building will look like. Maybe I'll get a bit more inspiration and ideas in that time for what the actual purpose or function for this building will be. But I really wanted to go through some of the ideas and solutions that I have for this project, and I wanted to show you how you can combine LEGO Technic with the regular LEGO pieces and create a building. So I am pretty happy with how this project is turning out. I'm pretty liking the look as well. I think from the inside this building gonna look pretty cool with all those Technic beams and everything. But yeah, we'll see when the parts arrive. We'll have the full completed roof, probably the walls as well, and we will gonna work on the interior and the front facade later maybe. So stay tuned. This is gonna take a few videos because this is a big project, and I need to order new parts for it, and I hope you found this video interesting and maybe learned some new techniques, and I'll see you in the next update.